This company lost over $800 billion in value, not because of competition, not because of bad products, but because of one decision. I'm talking about Alibaba, once the most powerful tech company in China, now struggling to survive its own government. So what exactly happened? And why should the entire world be paying attention? At its peak in 2020, Alibaba was worth over $850 billion. It was bigger than most global tech giants. It dominated e-commerce in China, controlled massive cloud infrastructure, and was expanding into finance, logistics, and entertainment. Then within just a few years, it lost more than 70% of its value. That's over $800 billion wiped out. Almost overnight. To understand the fall, you need to understand how powerful Alibaba really was. Founded in 1999 by Jack Ma, Alibaba became China's Amazon, PayPal, and AWS combined. Its platforms like Taobao and Tmall controlled over 50% of China's e-commerce market. Its cloud division became the #1 cloud provider in China. And then came Ant Group, its financial arm, which processed trillions of dollars in payments every year. Then in October 2020, everything changed. Jack Ma publicly criticized China's financial regulators. Just weeks later, Ant Group's $37 billion IPO, the largest IPO in history, was suddenly canceled. And that's when things started to unravel. Fast. After that moment, the Chinese government launched a massive crackdown on big tech. Alibaba was fined $2.8 billion for alleged monopolistic practices. New regulations were introduced, restricting how companies could operate. Ant Group was forced to completely restructure, and Jack Ma, one of the most visible entrepreneurs in the world, disappeared from public view for months. The impact was immediate. Alibaba's growth slowed dramatically. Its cloud division, once growing at over 50% annually, began losing momentum. Consumer confidence dropped. Investors pulled out billions, and competition started rising from companies like Pinduoduo and JD.com. What was once a monopoly was suddenly under pressure from all sides. By 2023, Alibaba's valuation had dropped below $250 billion. From a peak of over $850 billion, that's more than $600 to $800 billion erased. One of the biggest wealth destructions in modern corporate history. And it wasn't just Alibaba. The entire Chinese tech sector lost over $1 trillion in value during this period. But here's the interesting part. This wasn't just about Alibaba. It was about control. The Chinese government made one thing clear. No company can become more powerful than the system, even if it means destroying billions in value. Because in China, growth is important, but control is everything. And this matters far beyond China, because global investors realize something critical. Political risk can destroy even the strongest companies. It doesn't matter how profitable, how dominant, or how innovative a business is. If the system changes, everything changes. That's why billions of dollars flowed out of Chinese markets after this, and why companies worldwide started rethinking where and how they operate. The biggest lesson here is simple. In some markets, you don't just compete with companies, you compete with governments. And when that happens, strategy alone isn't enough, because the rules can change overnight. And when they do, even giants can fall. So what do you think? Was Alibaba treated unfairly, or was this inevitable? Drop your opinion in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe.
I think it's